Welcome back to the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn.
And I'm Eleanor.
And we're coming at you with yet another article on internships. It seems like every week now we have an article on internships. Hot topic. This is an editor pick from HollywoodReporter.com by Eric Gardner. And it's called Fox Urges Appellate Court to Review Internship Ruling. Basically, Fox Searchlight, the producing film company on the film Black Swan, lost a federal case brought by Alex Footman and Eric Glatt, who were interns on the production, claiming that they did much more than an intern would do on a film and should be paid as employees. What'd you think, Eleanor?
Yeah, I mean, it's boggling to me, the legal, what is the difference between, an intern and anything else, so, yeah.
And that's what the courts are trying to figure out, and there have been various rulings across the country on this, and nobody seems to be able to figure out who is the primary beneficiary of the internship. On one hand, you could argue, well, the intern is getting an education on the job, and so they're benefiting. And then you could say, well, something like the film production of Black Swan is getting free labor. So who's really the beneficiary?
I gotta say, the more we read these internship articles and the more I sort of learn about this specific culture in America of interns, I'm siding more and more with the interns less and less with especially in this case because, I understand that film is an expensive business, but it's also a very profitable business.
That movie made a lot of money.
So
they could afford a measly salary for a couple PAs.
It seems like the film companies are always trying to cut costs and always trying to, take advantage of their employees.
Completely.
I mean, even in New Zealand with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and things like that, we've had cases where they've been trying to change the law so that they don't have to change the term of what a full-time employee is so that they can just keep people on a contractor basis and then not have to give them the same kind of benefits and holidays. And it's it's Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They're making a lot of money, These people are working full-time.
You finally made your first Lord of the Rings reference after all these podcasts, Eleanor.
I'm sorry, it just came up. I try not to talk about it, but it's very relevant to this case, and it angered a lot of people in New Zealand.
Right.
So.
Well, there's various lawsuits going on right now. NBC, Universal, Gawker are having similar legal issues right now, and something's gonna have to happen that really defines what the role of an intern is in any project or company in this country, and it's probably gonna change the way we do business here. Yeah, relying on the free labor of college students or just out of college. Good. I've got one last quote on it. This is from AJC. He writes, "Interns need to be protected, and that's what the courts should help do." So there you go. That's a good editor pick for the week on interns.
Okay, and continuing into the workforce employment theme, this article was called Passion versus Engagement.
Where do you fall?
It's by Joe Paddy, and apparently this blog is called Butts in the Seats blog.
Butts in the Seats.
Editor pick, yeah. So some research has just come out that's found that only 11% of the workforce in the US consider themselves truly passionate employees. Truly passionate. So everyone else is just a little bit passionate or dispassionate.
Right. That means only 89% of people don't fully love their job.
Yeah, I mean, not really that surprising, to be honest. And Joe, who is the author of this article, was wondering if maybe there's more passionate people in the arts. And what is the difference between engagement and passionate? And him and the research define it as like engagement is I'm engaged with the company goals, I do my job to the best of my ability, I'm a hard worker.
Right.
Whereas passionate is kind of that extra level. I'm motivated, I really want to learn new skills.
And really help forward the company's progress.
Yeah, and it's not just about
own.
the company but myself as well, and just this formal, this industry that I'm in, I'm just so passionate about it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting distinction.
Yeah, did it make you introspective? Where do I lie?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because in terms of being engaged in like a company's mission, I haven't had a lot of experience with that because I've done a lot of work for myself. Or
and all our
partnered
work
with
is
organisations.
project-based, essentially. As
Yeah.
theater artists,
Yeah.
we're very project-based, so our work is always changing.
Yeah.
Every production presents its own new set of challenges or problems or to overcome.
Absolutely. But I definitely feel like I have to do projects that I'm passionate about rather than just engaged in. Like even
Completely.
just engaged in, like I want to work hard and I want to do a good job and I believe in it to a certain extent, it's not enough. Like,
I mean, you
for
look
me
at,
personally.
it got me thinking about some of my classwork assignments versus, my production work where I chose what I was going to work on.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a difference, although I'm always engaged. I'm probably more passionate about my current production,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, there was, I think, kind of widespread agreement with the distinctions that the article drew. Trent Taylor commented, I am definitely looking for a job that I can be passionate about for a career. Anything less than that would be a waste.
Well said, Trent.
Yeah, really well
Nice.
said.
Excellent. Well, this brings us to our last topic for the week, and it's very timely, especially with, with the government shutdown. This is from thinkprogress.org. It's an editor pick. It's by Alyssa Rosenberg, titled, Why the Affordable Care Act Matters to Artists. And the article goes on to profile several different artists, a writer, and an actress, and who had different medical difficulties come up, or just difficulty being remaining insured, and how the AHA is going to make this a lot easier for artists to remain insured and not have to put all their energy towards working more a 9-to-5 job in order to have insurance. What'd you think, Eleanor?
I just thought it was shocking to me, really, that, I mean, I'm still getting my head around the American healthcare
I know.
system. I mean,
it's a very flawed system.
I think just personally, I find it crazy that people would have been in these situations where they're paying off $20,000 of debt because they had to go to hospital because they had diabetes and they were about to be diagnosed with it.
And never, like, if they're the poor woman, actress, if she had gone off, gone off insurance for, lapsed for a certain amount of time, then her diabetes, once she tried to get on with another insurance company, would be considered a pre-existing condition, and therefore it wouldn't be insured.
It's just crazy.
I know,
it's
completely.
Just absolutely crazy. So yes, the Affordable Health Care Act, brilliant, absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant. And
absolutely.
It just goes to show you, particularly in something, you can see what a factor those practical factors are in somebody's success.
Right.
Because if you were, more privileged or more wealthy and you didn't have a problem with insurance, you would not necessarily have to take that 9-to-5 job and you could just focus on your
art. And thus, the article makes the point, the AHA allows artists to be braver in their choices of, life and career and creativity choices. Chris Norville writes, "It is really a great shame that the Affordable Health Care Act has received as much confused and completely misinformed resistance as it has. It often is called Obamacare. It's the same thing, and some people will say, well, I'm totally against Obamacare, but I'm for the AHA. when they're the exact same thing, but really some people are just against it because it's President Obama's health policy. And I don't care what anybody says. I think a lot of the flack against the AHA is just veiled racism. So there you have it, my incendiary comment for the week.
Continuing the controversial
Yes.
theme.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that brings us to the end of the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn,
I'm Eleanor.
and join us next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh. Veiled racism.
Fail, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't heard that at all.
Yeah. I think people are just against Barack Obama on the right.
Right. But that can also be like racism or just like I'm just anti-Obama and I'm anti-Democrat, so I just want to be anti-everything that he does.
Yeah, I think it's racist.
I think maybe that's simplistic.
Maybe. Well, maybe Jordan will edit that out.
Yeah.